Manchester Royal Infirmary was forced to close temporarily yesterday, its emergency department, after 2 patients were suspected of carrying the deadly Middle East respiratory syndrome virus. The patients are undergoing tests, but the A&E has now reopened.
Yeah, MERS, as it's known, is a flu-like virus spread through close contact, most likely through droplets in coughs or sneezes. And it has been detected 4 times only in the UK. The last case was in February 2014, but there have been more than 1,300 cases worldwide.
So Dr. Hilary has joined us to explain a little bit more. Hilary, we were all aware of SARS, but none of us had heard of MERS until yesterday.
Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome. It's caused by coronavirus, which is a family of viruses which also account for SARS, which is severe acute respiratory syndrome. MERS is something that we've seen in the UK in 4 cases since it was first discovered in Saudi Arabia, but 3 of them died, so it's got a high fatality rate once you've developed it.
How do you get it?
We're not absolutely sure, but the virus is transmitted, we think, through transmission from camels. But camels seem to be the common denominator in all the infections, and then there is a very difficult transmission from one human to another. It doesn't easily transmit from human to human, luckily, but if it does, it tends to be in healthcare scenarios, so that a patient is admitted and it's the healthcare workers not adopting really stringent hygiene precautions.
Perhaps because they don't recognise what it is initially.
Yeah, exactly, could well be.
So, look, a lot of people go on holiday to Egypt, Dubai, places like that. Is this, they're going to have a camel ride and find themselves at risk?
The risk is still very, very low.
Right.
Very, very low in the UK, but not much higher if you're travelling to these countries. The thing that is being advised at the moment is to avoid contact with camels. That means sort of avoiding camel rides, going to camel fairs.
In those countries?
In those countries,
okay.
Eating camel meat, drinking camel milk, which is highly nutritious. And I think if you adopt those precautions and you know, and you're generally healthy, the risk is very tiny indeed.
It's not often, though, is it, Hilary, that we see whole units being closed, and I think we saw some machinery being destroyed as well, didn't we?
Yeah, I think these are standard precautionary procedures. If you've got a suspected case like this where you have got a high fatality rate, even though it's rare, you want to protect the public at large. So there was a temporary closure of the hospital for a couple of hours. Any equipment used by those patients, until we understand whether they actually have the virus or not, is taken out of the loop, if you like. When I say we don't know whether the patients have it yet, just to put things in perspective, since the last proven case in this country in 2013, there have been 314 suspected cases, none of which proved positive.
Thankfully.
They've all been negative, so let's hope
Okay.
in this case it's the same.